Section 433. This is the establishment of digital treasury accounts. Under the Blueprint for a Better America, the U.S. Treasury will open a digital treasury account for every citizen. Let me share my screen again. On the left-hand side, we've got Section 433. And this is the authorization for the Treasury of the United States to open the American Value Fund, whose unit of account shall be Treasury dollar bills. As we read in the previous chapter, the previous section, one Treasury dollar bill is equal to one Federal Reserve note. And then there are 5 different types of accounts that the Treasury is authorized to open. And so the first of them is under Section B1, is for every American citizen. No exceptions. Every American citizen gets a digital Treasury account. For some reason you renounce your citizenship, and it gets redesignated, and it would no longer be under paragraph 1. The Secretary can work with the Social Security Administration, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Census Bureau to make sure that their work is thorough and that everybody, universally, unconditionally, is included in this program. B2 accounts will be opened for any recipient from the American Union Jobs Program who is not a citizen of the United States. And this comes up when children who are citizens will receive, or on their behalf will be issued $100 a week, their portion of universal basic income. However, if they're children, it needs to go to a parent or guardian. And so in that situation, the parent or guardian would have a B2 account that they could receive universal basic income on behalf of their child who is a citizen. And when at some point the child is no longer a child, then the adult would no longer be a recipient, and their account would be either terminated or redesignated. B3, the Secretary shall open digital treasury accounts for all the Federal Reserve banks. And these are what the Federal Reserve banks will pool Treasury dollar bills in on behalf of the member banks. B4 accounts will be for every department, agency, office, any unit of the United States, state, local government, any place that you pay taxes or make payments to the government will have an account so that you can use your Treasury dollar bills to make those payments to the government for any debt, any demand of any kind. And then the last B5 accounts are for any other person. And just go back and look at the definition of qualified person. It means any lawful resident of the United States, a legal entity conducting business in the United States, or any other person as the Secretary of the Treasury may see fit to include. So business owners, any legal residents, anyone else can open an account under B5. All right, subsection C explains how the digital treasury accounts work. Paragraph 1 says that any citizen's account may not be restricted or access otherwise withheld for any reason, including but not limited to age, ancestry, arrest record, bankruptcy, criminal conviction, debt, or other liability, gender, geographic location, income, marital status, occupation, race, religion, or sexual orientation. Access to your treasury account is unconditional and can't be taken away from you. It's written right here into the law that it'll be accessible to everyone. These accounts will be branded as U.S. Treasury accounts. ATMs will be available at post offices. So if you want to take your digital dollars and withdraw them as $20 bills and go spend them somewhere else, you can do that. Paragraph 4 lays out some of the features that will be included in digital treasury accounts: debit cards, online account access, phone access, bill pay, mobile banking, those kind of things. And these services and features will be developed with the U.S. Digital Service. If you've never heard of them, they are an executive branch department. President Obama founded them in 2014, and they have hundreds of employees working on improving and upgrading how the American people interact with government services. And so they're the ones who can develop this interface so that for every American to have a digital treasury account. In a May 2020 Forbes article, Robert Hockett wrote that they could develop the peer-to-peer connectivity on top of the existing Treasury direct accounts a month. So we have the technology, we have the ability to do these things. Treasury accounts also may not be subject to any account fees. Again, this is a public payment infrastructure. You don't have to pay any fees to participate any more than you do to walk down the sidewalk or enjoy a public park. These accounts shall include reasonable protection against fraud or security breaches, shall include the ability to transfer Treasury dollar bills in real time without fees to any other digital Treasury accounts. This is the public payment infrastructure. Right now, if I want to send money to someone across the country, in general, I'm going to have to use a credit card. I'm going to have to use banks, use things that are going to charge me fees. Now, when our economy was local, based on cash, people could pay in cash and without any fees. But in the 21st century, our economy is interconnected across the country, and we should be able to spend money without being charged for the privilege. And so that's what this section will set up. Paragraph 8 covers the privacy controls for citizens' accounts opened under paragraph B1. Includes privacy controls, including the ability to anonymize transfers or to delete an account's individual transaction history, so that all that would be recorded with the daily balance or the transaction balance. So it would just be a record of how the balance changed. And it protects people's privacy by prohibiting the sharing of account details, transaction history, and other personal identifying information without the account holder's consent, except as authorized by this subtitle or pursuant to a valid court order. And then last, Treasury accounts are built on the Treasury direct infrastructure Treasury already offers, and so you can buy and sell securities from the Treasury. You can invest in America. Subsection D deals with the launch date and when exactly will this roll out. It may take a little bit of time to get all these things set up, and so the Secretary of the Treasury will keep the American people informed on a monthly basis, telling us how long they think it'll be before we launch, and when certain conditions are met, we'll announce that date that they will start issuing Treasury dollar bills to all Americans. Those triggering events are when more than 300 million individual accounts have been opened, when requirements of B2 and B3, that they have accounts open for everyone else that they're required to have accounts open for. And that in conjunction with the U.S. Digital Service, all the account features have been developed. If you look carefully, the requirement that ATMs be in place at post office is not included in here. It's not required that be active before the launch date. The other features will be. So what happens if you know somebody who's not interested in a Treasury direct account and not interested in a central bank digital currency? Well, that's what subsection E addresses. It's someone who wants to decline their account. Now, every American will still be issued the Treasury dollar bills, but if you don't want to participate, then by default, it'll turn into a refundable tax credit with the IRS. If you don't touch your digital Treasury account for a year, then Treasury will deduct everything from your account and notify the IRS, and the IRS will apply it as a refundable tax credit. So it's $15,600 per adult per year as universal basic income. And as we've already said, you can pay your taxes with it, but if you don't, the IRS will give you a refund if you don't owe $15,600 in taxes. The rest of the section just kind of adds some updates, some references, clarifying that the government will be able to use these accounts for direct deposit, that Treasury dollar bills are legal tender, acknowledges them as obligation or other security of the United States, and authorizes the Treasury to spend some money setting that up. I think that concludes my testimony on section 433, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Yes. Would permanent residents receive accounts?
Universal basic income is only for citizens. So they would be they would be able to open accounts, yes, under FB3 or B4, but they wouldn't be assigned one automatically.
And so, kind of follow up, well, what sort of fraud protections are there to block non-citizens from getting accounts or people from getting duplicate accounts?
It's a good question, and the answer is that the Secretary of the Treasury is directed to be thorough in putting this opening up accounts for everyone, and so part of it is sort of trusting their work. As far as specific fraud protections, there's no criminal penalties that are built into this. Leave that policy to Congress. Criminal penalties for fraudulent behavior. These provisions are just focused on setting up the infrastructure that'll bring our economy into the 21st century.
Thank you. Are there more funds being supplied to the U.S. digital service to maintain this system?
Not directly, just sort of the U.S. Treasury is directed to utilize the U.S. digital service. And as I'm not 100% sure how that accounting works with the U.S. digital service.